Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And to all my brothers out here preaching this truth to you, I say Shalom. This is Amatazar from the Chicago camp, coming back at you again with another lesson entitled Scattered and Gathered. Now, the subject of scattered and gathered is hidden, okay, throughout the scriptures, okay? Now, when I say hidden, I'm saying because the seals, all right, for those, all right, who the Lord have not awakened, they don't understand the concept of being scattered and gathered. It's absolutely ridiculous how the idea of the Hebrew Israelites being scattered throughout the four corners of the earth are all throughout the scriptures. But yet, Christianity doesn't acknowledge it at all. The scattering of the Hebrew Israelites all throughout the earth is part of the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Okay? But in Christianity, those things are not acknowledged. The covenant, okay, that the Lord made with Israel, all right, and Jacob, they are not considered in Christianity, because Christianity teaches salvation for all nations. Okay? This is biblically incorrect. Okay? There is no salvation for all nations. There's salvation for Israel. All right? And all throughout the scriptures, the Lord explained how he would scatter us and gather us. All right? In the end days, or at the end. So we have to live with the punishment. Okay, we gotta deal with the indignation. All right, but this is the last captivity. So we're waiting on Yahweh Shai to return. All right, so I'm excited to bring this lesson, scattered and gathered. So let's go through the scriptures. First off, we're going to start off with Amos 3:1. It says, "Hear this word that Yahweh hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known out of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities." All right. So Yahweh Shai, or Yahweh, he says that you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Now, the Lord is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He says, you're the only family that I know. He says, therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities. This is Deuteronomy 28:45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Because thou hearkenest not, you didn't listen. You hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because thou servest not Yahweh thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shall thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Okay? So in this captivity, you're not free. Okay? You can't go to another country. You just can't get up and get on the airplane and go to another country. You got to get a passport. That's a pass. That's permission to leave the United States and go somewhere else and come back. All right? That's called a hall pass. All right? And you have to go to your enemy in want of all things. If you want to wear 100% cotton, it's hard for you to wear 100% cotton because you don't own any textile companies. If you're not making your own clothes, you're subject to whatever's in Walmart or Sam's Club or Target or any one of these outlet stores or retail stores, rather, where you buy these clothes. Same thing when it comes to water. Esau telling you can't collect storm water, which is free, that drops from the clouds. There may be a reason because of that. He keeps doing these chemtrails, and these planes keep flying overhead, making these long strips of poisons that they're putting in the cloud. So maybe he doesn't want you to store the rainwater because there's all kind of chemicals that wouldn't be found in nature. Think about that for a second. All right. So in one of all things is absolutely everything. Whatever community you live in, guess what? Even though your car is paid for, every year you got to buy a sticker. Okay. So right now for me, it's about $115 every year. You got to buy a sticker for your license plate. Then you got to buy a village sticker. Okay. So every year, even though your car is paid off, you got to pay about $200 just to operate your vehicle in the village where you live, which makes absolutely no sense. All right. So that's in one of all things. It says, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. All you got to do is Google yoke of iron, and all you're going to see, all right, is the so-called children of the slave trade, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians in yokes of iron. Deuteronomy 30:1 says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahweh thy power hath driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether Yahweh thy power have scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. So the Lord is telling you, and he's promising you, all right, that he is going to bring you back to the land that he promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. Now, how is he going to do that? We're going to see. That's in Matthew, the 24th chapter. Now, Christianity calls it a rapture. All right. Now, where they get the term rapture from is not found in the scriptures. Okay. But the so-called, what they consider the rapture, all right, is only for the elect. All right. It won't be for everyone who thinks they believe. It's only for the elect. And we're going to prove that. This is Baruch 2:28. As thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write the law before the children of Israel, saying, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. All right. What is this scattering? The transatlantic slave trade. Okay. You have the Spanish Inquisition. You have the Israelites who were considered called the North American Indians. All right. They were part of that transatlantic slave trade as well. They were brought to over east from the west. All right. Verse 30, for I knew that they would not hear me because it's a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves and shall know that I am Yahweh their power, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. Okay? And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people. And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. How does this fit in Christianity? Okay? How does this fit in Christianity? If salvation is for everyone, why are there promises and covenants to the people of Israel? The only way that this can fit in Christianity is for Christianity to make spiritual Israelites out of everyone. Okay? But that doesn't work, because Yahushua in Revelations 22 and 16 ain't talking about being the spiritual seed of David. He's not the spiritual seed of David. He is the seed of David. These promises and covenants and these are all based on the children of Israel, this kingdom. Daniel 2 and 44 says the kingdom shall not be given to another people. It's only for Israel. Okay? This is Jeremiah 29 and 14. It says, and I will be found of you, saith Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith Yahweh, and I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. Okay? So we're going back to Jerusalem. This is Psalms 44 and 11. It says, thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. Thou sellest thy people for naught, and does not increase thy wealth by their price. Thou makest a reproach to our neighbors. Thou makest us, Salakia, a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. Wow. All you got to do is just look in society. It says, thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors. All you got to do is go on YouTube and type in Karen. Okay, that's what they call that's what they call these primarily Edomites. All right, who always calling the police on Jake. Now, a couple years ago, at the start of the so-called pandemic, you had a so-called Karen. All right, who called the police on Jake when she was in the Bramble in New York. Okay, her dog was trampling over the flowers, and you had a guy who was a bird watcher, all right, who told her dog shouldn't be not on a leash, and that she should leash her dog. The woman was so offended that the Jake told her, a so-called white woman, she said, I'm going to call the police on you. And then she contrived right on camera and said that she was being threatened, her life was being threatened, her and her dog. It was all caught on tape. The Bible says these people, all right, it says that they lie from the womb. Okay, as soon as they be born, they come forth speaking lies. The Bible also calls them the accuser of the brethren. This is Malachi 7 and 8. It says, rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, Yahweh shall be a light unto me. I will bear the indignation of Yahweh because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. So here in Micah, all right, the prophet Micah says that he's saying to his enemy, he said, rejoice not against me, O my enemy. Okay? Don't be happy when I fall, because guess what? The Lord is going to bring me to the light. And right now, I have to bear the sin, right? That Yahweh that I've done, and Yahweh is going. I've sinned against him, and he's going to plead my cause. So right now we in our last captivity, right? Because Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning thereof. That's Second Ezra 6 and let's go 6 and 9. Second Ezra. Let me get it while I'm talking about it. Second Ezra 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. So we're in the last kingdom. This is our last captivity. All right. So when we, Lord willing, depending on how we go out, we're going to wake up and we're going to wake up to something new. All right. Ezekiel 39 and 23. It says, and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword. According to their uncleanness, and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus said the Lord power, Now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name, after they have borne their shame and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and sanctified in them and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am Yahweh their power. You see, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. You see, where is that in Christianity? The Lord keeps saying over and over again, I am their power, and I will cause them, to inherit the land. And I led them into captivity among the heathen. Where is that in Christianity? You see? This is Matthew 24 and 30. All right. Now, in the Christian church, they talk about the rapture. And they say the rapture. That's not found in scripture. Okay. Now, what you do have in Matthew 24 and 30, you have Yahushua saying that he's going to gather his elect from the four corners of the earth. Let's read it. Matthew 24 and 30. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. You see, it's not for everybody. It's not for everyone who believes. It's only the elect. Who are the elect? The elect are the 1/3 of Israel. Baruch 4 and 36. O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from the Most High. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east and to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of the Most High. Baruch 5 and 5. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about toward the east, and behold thy children gathered from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High. So all of these scriptures are talking about being scattered and gathered. Israel being scattered and gathered. Psalms 19 and 2. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. What is that talking about? It's talking about the internet. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. This is Romans 10 and 18. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. All right, so this message is going out into the four corners of the earth. And therefore, when you're hearing the salutations, it talks about the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. The hopeful elect are the 1/3 of Israel that the Lord is going to gather. All right. And in conclusion, all right, Matthew 24 and 14, it says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Okay. So to anyone that's under the sound of my voice, if you're listening and you're listening and you're being edified by these scriptures and by these lessons, okay, it's a very high likelihood that the Lord is dealing with you. Okay, so if you're repenting and your eyes are open, okay, Yahushua says that he that have eyes, let him see, and he that have ears, let him hear. You're not going to get or gain this understanding without the Lord opening up your mind and your understanding. Okay, so we happy for you for that. All right, so until the next one, I want to say shalom.